What's going on, guys? So we're still here in Nakoa. I couldn't be more excited. Two guys that get me fired up decided to join us for a little interview. Guys, why don't you do this just because so the audience can see you guys. Why don't y'all introduce yourself real quick? Because y'all are some of my favorite people.
I'm Franklin. I'm the wildlife foreman for LaJaunie's Pest Control. I've been with them for 3 years, and I'm just continuing my career. I've been in the industry for about 10 years.
Heath Vizier with LaJaunie's Pest Control, manager of the wildlife department for LaJaunie's. I've been in the pest industry for almost 2 years and been dealing with wildlife for about 7.
Yeah, so guys, so really quick, just so you guys know, if you guys don't know LaJaunie's, it is ran by Sky and Jared, two awesome people. And I can tell you this, I love Sky. Jared's a tough one, though, I'm sure, to work for, right, guys?
Oh, no, we love Jared.
I'm just kidding.
We love Sky, too, but...
So well, listen, guys. So let's have a little fun here today. So I know that you guys don't do a ton of interviews because you guys are out there making it happen.
Yep.
But you guys do a lot of really cool stuff. So let me ask you this. So Frank, you moved down here from New York, right?
Right.
And so you came from New York. You're in Louisiana.
Right.
So tell us a little bit about what that looks like, going New York to Louisiana. I mean, that's a huge difference, man.
Man, so first off, it was a culture shock. And a lot of people knew me in the industry up there, and they didn't have any idea about me down here. So I kind of had to reprove myself. And to their credit, they empowered me to do everything that I've done today. And man, they're just, it's kind of inspiring even to myself to look back at what I was doing and seeing how they've grown me since then.
That's really cool. So you ready for this? Heath's about to get put on the hot seat and he doesn't know this. Are you ready, Heath?
Got it, yeah.
All right. So I've learned a fun fact about you, Heath.
What's that?
So I hear that in your side time, when you're hanging out, that your favorite thing to do is go to Renaissance festivals. And so let's talk about who's your Renaissance character.
So I actually have a lot of Renaissance characters. I'm actually going to go even deeper in addition to running Renaissance, I do catering in full costume on my weekends at a LARP local. So yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Like full catering, like you're the guy that carries the big ass turkey legs around?
Yeah. I do briskets, pulled pork, whatever they want for the weekend. Yeah, I do competition barbecue, and it ended up mixing well with the Renaissance theme, doing that for them. They asked me to do it, and I ended up going to cater that. Yeah.
So you are actually like a Renaissance man.
as close as we could be. Yeah.
So we don't get way off track here. I'm going to get off track for just a second. So one of my favorite TV shows to watch is the Night Fights. Have you ever seen Night Fights, the TV show?
Oh, geez. Yeah.
Have you?
That like the actual like hardcore, like they're going at it. Yeah.
Have you ever seen that?
I've never seen it.
All right. So this TV show, they dress people up in armor, like real armor, and they actually use real weapons that are dulled, the blades, and they actually have combat battles. So it's ridiculous. Like if any of you guys watching this want to see something that's absolutely insane, it's called Night Fights, right?
Night Fights, yeah.
Yeah, you got to go check out Night Fights. It's ridiculous. That's a good plug for y'all, Night Fights. All right, so back to business. So guys, so listen, so you guys have done something pretty remarkable. So since the first time we met, I guess 2.5 years ago, something like that. I mean, without getting way into the detail, I mean, how much have you guys grown the wildlife division?
So since the start, it literally came from, I'm kind of taking his thunder here. It came from Jared saying, sell one and I'll invest in it, with Frank actually making that work, to actually needing people like me to help with the infrastructure and make the sales and facilitate things. So, and I'd say in the amount of time we've been here, it hasn't been 3 years yet.
Yeah.
We really hit the ground running, and we're just fortunate enough to have an employer that really is willing to invest in us, as long as, he tells me often, I'm going to give you the shot, but you got to make it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you've been a foreman. I mean, you're the foreman. I mean, you've been building wildlife companies for a long time.
Right.
So, I mean, for people that are not in our industry, because you guys are, I mean, LaJaunie's is primarily a pest control company, right?
Right.
Like, I mean, how do you go from that business to where you're at today? Like, can you give us like a quick overview of the last 2.5 years?
Yeah, so I'll say the communication is way different. The scheduling is way different. So that's a battle that you're naturally going to come across. Is the pace is different for the jobs, right? So you're going to have to work if you're a pest control company getting into wildlife. That's an immediate hurdle, because your job as a pest control company is job. You're not really thinking about all these other intricate details, right? The wildlife jobs, they tend to take a little bit longer, right? They take a little bit more planning. The risk is a little bit higher on them. So that's just the communication with the office staff and just getting in the same mind frame. But it can benefit you, because the pace it's all different mind frames. So I came down here with a certain way I think things should look, right? And what I found out is we could do it better than that thought, because there's other people around me that have seen tons of, growth in other areas. And that's really what you need to learn, is how to lean on those people and come up with an idea better than you have.
Yeah. So I think that's a big key. And I also want to expand on the difference, because a lot of things that we go across is proper expectations, right? So the pest industry and the wildlife industry, which ends up being a lot of construction, it's two completely different things as far as your profit and your expectations in that, and how things are going to go and follow up and things like that. So it's just, it's awesome to be in an all-in-one, because once you get everything working together, you have a real nice machine that could pretty much do anything.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously you guys know what our companies do outside of Pest Daily. We build these things, right? It's like, it's one of the things that I always see is I see pest control owners who tend to put like their toe in the water with wildlife.
Right.
And I think that it's a huge mistake. It's like you either do it or you don't, because what happens is you basically have to start drawing this line in the sand about what you can do and what you can't do. So the second you put a line in the sand that says I can't do this, you're actually no longer servicing your customer correctly.
Correct.
You're just selling them products and services that fit what you need versus what they actually may need for their house. And we see that a lot, right?
Right.
And so I think it's really interesting that you guys are doing this. I mean, so are you guys finding, you guys are obviously a power player. I mean, I would say probably the largest private company in probably the New Orleans area would be my guess overall. But like, do you guys find, as the wildlife team, do you guys find that you're really leveraging your current customers? Or do you guys find more that leads are just coming in for you guys?
So leads are kind of strange at current time. We are getting them flowing in, but we're finally developing that rapport where LaJaunie's is already a big pest control company. Yep. So New Orleans was a newer area for us, but that is finally starting to trickle over as like, look, we're the guys that can do it all for you.
Yep.
So yeah, you do get to that point, but it does require. We even have like Baton Rouge right now. We're still doing some door knocking. We're still doing some hanging. We're shooting every shot we can.
I could tell you something that causes a little bit of friction. So when a rodent lead comes in, is it a wildlife lead, or are we going to sell that over the pet, like for a healthy home over the phone, right? So like it's opportunities for each. But what I've grown to learn is like we could sell them, but they're still a customer. If they continue to have issues, they're going to be our wildlife customer in the end anyway. But that's the whole mind frame that I was talking about.
It's so funny as I hear that. Obviously, I know y'all's business to an extent.
Right.
It's like I just remember years back, like talking to Sky, going, "Y'all need to sell on the phone. Y'all need to sell on the phone. Y'all need to sell on the phone." And now it's funny because now you're going, and in my mind now I'm going, well, with you guys here, maybe we should put those rodent leads over on y'all's plate because you guys can sell them. And I'm like, man, maybe I screwed up. But I'm not going to tell Sky that.
It's something that we kind of do struggle with, it's a growing pain because the inside sales team is necessary for the expansion that we're looking at.
For sure.
But it is kind of you have to look at the bigger picture, and that's something I'm coming to right now, because obviously we butt heads with the inside sales team because they're not physically there doing the inspections. But we are, whether they're helping or we're helping, we are developing that rapport and we are building the LaJaunie's brand. So as long as they stay true to the core values of LaJaunie's and we stay true to the core values of LaJaunie's, it's going to come around anyway.
100%. So all right, you guys ready for some fun, hard questions?
Oh yeah, let's get it.
You guys can bring them to me too, but I'm gonna start here. So Heath, this is coming for you. You ready?
Yeah.
You know where we're going with this, don't you?
I hope.
Okay. So here's the deal. So what I know is that you have a really unique career path, right? So you were a technician, and then you walked into Jared's office, and you told Jared, "I want to be a salesman in wildlife," right?
Yeah.
And Jared said, and you not only did you do that, which I know Jared would be like, heck yeah, what effort, right? Right? Shoot your shot, you got to make it, right?
That's it.
Right? So then what I also know is you committed to a number within a time frame, or you said you were going to go back to your job. Do you remember doing that?
I did.
And you did it, huh?
I did.
What was the number you committed to? Because he didn't tell me.
So in the initial practice for sales, I committed to $50K a month.
Yep.
And I tooted my own horn a bit, I was the first person in LaJaunie's sales history to hit 100K a month. Ironically, right after I met you, Seth. So
oh, really?
Toot for you too.
Unrelated to me, man. You guys did the work. So I probably got y'all a little fired up. You know what I mean?
You did. So, you did. It was my first NACOA. That freshman visit here, you really get the batteries charged and get back firing in. But yeah, no, I definitely hit it. And and then spanned out into being able to help Frank further with managing that department and getting everything taken care of.
That's awesome. So the last hard question is that you made a commitment last NACOA when I saw you.
Ouch.
Sorry, man. So
You got it.
All right. So I'm going to put you out there, man, because this helps you stay accountable for the future.
Yeah.
So last year at NACOA, you told me you were going to sell $1 million that year.
You're right.
Right?
I did.
It's it. Fiscal year's over. So are you still going to petition for one more month or what?
I'm gonna own it, man. Your year is your year. I shot for the sun and hit the moon. I'm not mad with 872. You know, I hit 872K. I'm real happy with that.
And that's your second year doing wildlife.
Before NACOA, I had been selling for 6 months.
You guys, I want you guys to listen to what he just said. What he just said, he sold $872,000 in wildlife in basically his first year of sales.
Yeah,
with no training really in it, right? You went out there and started selling.
With
you had Frank.
Field training from Frank, and that is actually the niche because Frank and I are essentially the wildlife team as far as that stuff goes. We have a couple outside salesmen that are versed enough, but when it comes to the direct hands-on knowledge, we're the guys. So with just Frank's training and doing personal research and getting out there and getting your hands dirty and getting on roofs and under houses,
it's pretty remarkable, dude. Honestly, I'm giving you a hard time. It's pretty remarkable. All right, man, your turn. You ready?
Yep.
All right, so I'm going to give you an easier question. Here's your easier question. So obviously with Heath came over with really not a lot of wildlife experience, right? And you got him doing, I mean, he killed it. Like,
Right.
Let's be honest, he killed it.
I'll start.
So you've done something very special, whether you know what that is or not, but I want to get it out of you. So if I handed you a brand new person like Heath and said, hey, get him to $870,000, like what method would you want to use? Like what would be a method around how to do that? Because you've already done it.
Right.
More than once, probably.
Getting that person around the right people and finding out what motivates them, right? Some people are motivated by money. Some people are motivated by titles. Some people are motivated by accolades, right? So I'd find out what that person is motivated by and dangle that carrot in front of them and let them hit that goal. When it comes to technical knowledge, I could teach them all I want, right? But the reality is Heath is better versed in sales, right? So after I got them knowledgeable about the product, I'd be like, Heath, get them on the techniques to closes, right? And I'd really lean on him as far as that.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's awesome. So how long did it take you to feel super competent, like in selling wildlife outside of just salesmanship? Like, I mean, now you go to a job, you can sell anything, but how long did it take you to feel competent?
It's going to sound really, really weird. I started feeling a lot better in wildlife after I really underquoted a job.
Is that crazy?
Yeah, I
didn't tell you to go out and do the work and figure out what it really costs.
No, despite popular belief, Frank and I didn't always get along.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I mean, he's kind of a tough ass dude.
Well, no, like he's the guy stuck doing the job that got quoted wrong.
Oh,
So I can understand that frustration, and we butted heads on it, but at the end of it, I'm really stubborn when it comes to if I say I'm gonna learn from this and get better by it. That was the one where I was like, no, this isn't happening again. So that was when it really hit me. Okay, you could do this.
So we had a rule in our wildlife operation and so I undersold some jobs, and so our rule was if you undersold it, you go do the work. And I learned real quick not to undersell a job. So let me ask you something. There's a lot of guys that are growing sales operations here too, and so this is a really important question. So when you sell and you start to get to the level of sales that you're at right now, is that one of the things that I find is it's the comfortability of asking for money. And so do you remember the first time that you asked for more money than you put an agreement in front of somebody and it was like a big number where you were like, they actually just signed this? Do you remember that first time?
Yeah. I had a really weird goal for myself that if I ever got my first 10K sale, which is for residential, it's a pretty big sale.
A lot of money, man.
So I convinced myself like, whenever you do this, they just made the oatmeal cream pie ice cream. And I was like, you're not going to eat that till you sell a 10K sale. So it's the stupidest thing ever, right? But I distinctly remember whenever it was signed and I got back in my truck, I was like, guess we're going to pick up some ice cream. So I know it's silly, but the transition of spending out of like in a lot of times when I'm shooting a shot, it's I don't have that kind of money, but you can't have that mindset.
Exactly, dude.
You can't spend your customers' money, and you have to have plans for that. And even if they don't have the money, you have to have financing options. We have all the tools for it.
So I think you hit the magic button that I think people need to really resonate. is you can't think about cost in terms of what you have in your bank account. You have to think about cost in terms of what provides the most value to the customer. And people really struggle with that. Because if I said, hey, I need you to spend $10,000 on something, you're gonna go, dude, that's expensive. Like, but if you get into that mindset, you actually talk yourself out of deals. You know what I mean?
Right.
I remember the first ones that I ever had. It was pretty interesting. So, all right, guys. So you guys can ask me anything you guys want.
Anything?
Whatever y'all want, I'm gonna answer it. And I'll answer whatever. You can ask me any crazy question you want.
Man, if I had known this, I would have came prepared.
What is your favorite or something you would consider a bread and butter wildlife service that you just think everybody should be offering and selling?
Yeah. So, well, I've got a couple of them. So, one of them I think is really important. And then the second one is one that I've dreamed about people selling, and we would have sold tons of it if it existed. So I think when I think about wildlife work is I think about the balance of the time versus the profit. Okay. And so what I know is that I would much rather go onto a job and do a $1,500 job or $2,000 job that I could get on and off that site in 2 or 3 hours. Okay. And now people would say, well, why would that seems like you're ripping somebody off? The answer is I'm not, because we have the knowledge base to actually do it.
Right.
And so if I had to think about the job that I'd want to sell, it would be any type of a basic exclusion that fit into that like $1,500 to $2,500 ballpark that I could do within 2 to 3 hours, that I could immediately tie a recurring revenue program to. That's what I would sell. So that I could either warranty with a monthly subscription warranty, or that I could tie a rodent control program to, or whatever the case may be.
Okay.
So my favorite jobs that we sell in the nation today is that we do a basic exclusion, $1,500, simple stuff, whatever that $1,500 looks like for your company, okay? And then we sell them a $99 a month rodent maintenance program, okay? We walk out, we check 2 or 3 or 4 stations, it's $99 a month. That's my favorite thing to sell. It's absolutely incredibly profitable. And in cold weather markets, you actually don't have to service them monthly. And so
your winter season thing.
Yeah, so your average value per sale skyrockets. Your average value per service skyrockets. It's almost $300 per service, which is incredibly profitable. That's my favorite stuff to sell. So the cool stuff, the big jobs, obviously we love them, but the stuff that gets you rich are these type of jobs at scale. Okay.
Right.
My dream situation, and I'm going to plug a product here for a second, and you guys have probably heard me talk about it before, is I love that sign wrap product that like the AAC has, and I'm plugging
the raw unbent stuff, right? In the roll.
The roll, and I'll tell you why. If I had my company today, we sold tons of commercial shopping centers, and you guys might have heard me talk about this before. I would sell every single commercial shopping center that had signs out there. I would be selling them on programs to wrap that sign with that metal product. And then what I would also do is I would be taking optical gel and sticking it on the side and making a recurring subscription around it. It would be astronomically profitable. It would provide incredible value. It would increase the tenant satisfaction of those shopping centers. It would help them keep tenants in those buildings, and it would create the consumers that are coming to the stores and make them happier, so they don't have bird feces all over the place.
Yeah.
And that's what I'd be selling, and I would be selling it on the CapEx budget, not on the budget of the property manager, so we could sell it at scale. That's what I'd be selling. That'd be my dream. If I opened a company today, I would make millions of dollars selling that product.
That's a shot. Yeah.
Yep. We used to sell these all the time with netting, right? So like this is a better solution, less maintenance that is still warrantyable.
It's virtually permanent, and you're going to be servicing the pucks at that point.
Well, again, just like anything else, the quality of work matters. We can't control what happens on that property after that work's done. And so we're still selling them a warranty to ensure this is right. Like,
right.
Does that make sense?
No, it makes perfect sense.
So what other questions?
I got a question, because it's a personal goal of mine, and I want to see if you could help. How do you get in front of the decision makers for industrial, commercial, even government jobs? How do you put yourself in a position where you could talk to that person?
Yeah. So obviously we have trainings on this stuff, right? So each is a little different. And so the number one way to get in front of these people is, and I'll tell you, is that you have to know the regional offices are. Alternatively, and so when you go in, you have to walk in the front door. Because calling them on the phone can work. It's okay. Like we train those protocols. We have to be really, really good on the phone.
Right.
And frankly, to get really good on the phone, you got to be like very, very specific. But the very first thing we do is that when we go in to meet with them, we go in with the intention of selling the appointment, not selling our service. And so if I'm going to go into an industrial portfolio and I'm going to pitch them, my pitch is not going to be, I'm with LaJaunie's Pest Control. We're the best pest control company who does your pest control. That would never be my program. Okay. That would never be my pitch. My pitch would always be this. Hey, my name's Seth. LaJaunie's Pest Control. The reason I'm stopping by is that we've developed programs that increase tenant satisfaction, and I'd like to sit down and show you exactly how these work, and whatever that may look like. So I've got an appointment XYZ. Does this work for you? To sit down and talk about it. And I'm never going to sell the product. I'm never going to sell our company. I'm going to sell that meeting first. And so what we have to have is we have to have the individual value propositions based on industry in order to do that well. And so that's how I would sell it. So industrial is standard operating procedures. Consolidated billing is also value proposition, sustainability, tenant satisfaction, and a variety of others. But that's how I get in the door to an industrial building. And I've sold tremendous portfolios like that. So is that helpful?
Yeah.
And then you got to have the sales process down, but that's how you get in the door. Is that helpful?
Yeah, that's awesome.
So what else, man?
So earlier you mentioned that kind of fine line, that tightrope we have to walk of offering services of a wildlife company, but not offering services that aren't a wildlife service, right? We got guys delving into like setting up Christmas lights and things along the lines of that. Well, but your take on it, as I understood before, was if we're providing the service the customer wants, at the end of the day, we're doing okay. But where is that fine line where you got to say, no, I'm not expanding out to X?
Yeah. So your company has a deep entrepreneurial spirit, okay? And one of the things that I love about your business, specifically my buddy Jared, is he's willing to take a shot at some stuff, right?
At everything.
Because he's a builder, right? So Jared's a builder. So Jared wants to take shots at stuff. And I think it's incredible. And it's honestly why you guys are doing what you're doing right now and why you're being successful.
100%.
And so I think that from a company standpoint, and so a week ago, we had our national conference, the Pest Daily one, and we had 4 top 20 CEOs sitting on stage talking about the way they build their business. And every one of them said the exact same thing. And it was interesting. Unrelated, by the way, is that in order to grow a successful business in the pest industries, you have to keep it very, very simple. Okay? You have to keep it very simple. You sell one product, you sell it really, really well. After you have a database, then you sell your next product really, really, really well. Then you sell your next product really, really, really well to the same user base. And so from my perspective, I don't care if somebody sells Christmas lights. I don't care if they sell pooper scooper business. I don't care what they do, as long as they have a fundamental core service they start with. And for you guys, it's pest control. And so my preference would be that every wildlife company, a customer you sell, is that they're buying from the database, your pest control database. And then if they call you have a lead, is that they buy pest control first before they buy wildlife. So if I'm out there going to do a wildlife job, if I'm y'all, is like, I want them to be a pest control customer first before I ever pitch them on wildlife. So they call in, I'm taking the call. Great. Hey, here's how we run our wildlife program. First off though, you have to be a pest control customer first. Let us set you up there, get them set up. Now they're a customer. Make sense?
Yes.
And so it doesn't matter what service you tack onto that at the end of the day, but that's the stuff that makes a big difference. And that's how we grow the most profitable business in the country.
So what you said right there, having a knowledgeable CSR. So this has been something that I've actually been fighting for. Is having a CSR that's specifically trained in wildlife and having a broad knowledge of at least the program of it. How do you think that would be greatly beneficial? Or
so this is it's a very pointed question. And so I would say that in an organization, whether it's yours or any organization, is that if there's a true technical need for that person, great. But then the other part I would say is that if you really take a look at your CSR training as a whole, CSRs, the most successful CSRs really shouldn't be troubleshooting anything. Because if a customer calls in, say a customer calls into you guys, is that do you want to trust the revenue, your future revenue or your sale to somebody in an office, or would you rather trust them when you're sitting in front of them?
Sitting in front of them.
I would rather be there.
Yeah.
Right. So what I would prefer when we build these is like, hey, maybe you have to have a CSR that's dedicated to wildlife, but I still want them working to sell that inspection. I don't want them trying to sell the service. I don't want them giving the customer so much information that I never have an opportunity to actually get out there in front of them. Because the fact is, if they give them too much information, now you guys might have a job that's $2,500, but that customer might listen. And because they're not an expert, is that they may actually commoditize you against a company that isn't an expert, and you guys might get undersold versus getting an opportunity. But I mean, based on so CSR decisions should be based on volume of calls and the capacity of the team, not necessarily subject matter experts. That's my opinion.
Okay.
So I would prefer to say, hey, you guys need a dedicated CSR, but not just for wildlife, because the volume is something that you actually need to solve for. Make sense?
Or like a CSR capable of proper triage and saying, look, I have to hand this off and doing.
Correct. But you don't want your CSR like when we train companies, CSR specifically in wildlife, is like we'll see questions like this. Well, are you hearing things in the daytime or nighttime? Right?
Right.
Hey, so what do you think it is? Whatever. And then what happens is the CSR starts answering questions. Oh, well, since it's at nighttime, it's this. Since it's daytime, it's this. But what actually happens is the CSR just misinformed that customer, because when you're on site, you get out there and it's something completely different. And so we've actually just lied to that customer.
You got medical treatment from a nurse when you should have went to the doctor.
Exactly. Yeah. 100%. So those are things we have to be cognizant of. So does that answer your question?
It does.
Yeah. So what else, guys? Any other questions for us?
We're good. Man, I'm good.
All right. So let's do this, man. Let's do this. So what I want you to do is I want you guys to take 1 second. And so Franklin, I want you to look in that camera and I want you to give the audience a piece of advice that's going to inspire them. And then it's going to be your turn.
Man, listen, find yourself a great group of people that believe in you. Don't be afraid to have smarter people in the room than you, and, absorb all the knowledge you can and then apply it.
Your turn, man.
Gotcha. So definitely surround yourself with people that you want to be like or want to emulate, but don't be afraid to take the shot. That is my biggest advice. I think that's how LaJaunie's has gotten where it is. I think that's how Seth is, as successful as he is. Don't be afraid to take the shot, and you're going to miss some, you're going to make some. And as long as you're comfortable taking those shots, you're going to make them.
It's awesome advice, guys. Guys, you guys are providing extreme value to a lot of people right now. From my heart, guys, I've known you guys for a while now. I am super, super proud of you. Not that that matters, but I'm super proud of both you guys, man. You guys are doing some amazing things. I think when we fast forward 10 years from now, people are going to say, you guys are the serious leaders of this industry, man. And so I'm really, really happy for you guys.
Cool. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Hey, man. Thank you guys a lot, man. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for doing this. Yeah. Thank you, guys.